Today's guest is Dan Ahn, who runs the Ahnestly YouTube channel, and his social handles are Stay Honest. He's an incredible YouTuber who's gained almost 100,000 subscribers, and he also reviews chairs.
Some people like rest. Some people like head.
He does an amazing job of it too. He puts out some of the best chair content out there. And in today's episode, we get a chance to sit down with him, talk about his YouTube channel, talk about which chairs he likes, which ones he doesn't, and learn more about his business because honestly, it's really interesting. Also, don't forget to download the latest core badge in the link in the top of the description below. We're actually running a giveaway for a pair of Union LA Air Jordan 1s because I know a lot of you guys who listen to this podcast are sneakerheads. So if you guys want a chance to possibly win that pair of sneakers for yourself, make sure to download the latest core badge and subscribe to the Shoes Off podcast. Now, with that being said, sit back, relax, and enjoy this episode of the Shoes Off podcast. So tell me about yourself, because there's a lot of people watching who maybe are familiar with your work on YouTube, but would like to learn more. So how did you get into the space initially?
Yeah. So first of all, my channel's name is Ahnestly. My name is Dan Ahn. And so I took the word honestly and my last name Ahn, and I kind of slammed it together. I thought it'd be really clever. And a lot of people say it is really clever until you have to explain how to spell it. You know, whenever I go to these conferences and stuff and I meet people, they're like, what's your channel? And I'm like, oh, it's Ahnestly. How do you spell it? And I'm like, it's loud, you know, people are like, hey, what? And they just give me the phone, you know?
Right.
So I got to do what these young people do where they got a QR code and you can scan it. So that's a good idea. But that's kind of how the channel was born.
Right.
I started by doing tech. So I started with tech.
Nice.
I love tech. I enjoyed doing it. And then after that, during the pandemic especially is when oh, by the way, so what I do is I review chairs and home office furniture and things like that. So that's kind of my niche. I'm trying to expand a little bit, but more on that maybe later in the interview. But yeah, that's kind of what I do. And so the way it happened was I did tech for maybe about 3 years. And then when the pandemic hit, I happened to know a lot about this chair, kind of like what you guys, you know, when you guys resell sneakers and stuff like that game. It wasn't quite as intense, but I knew a lot about this one chair.
Right.
I, would fix them up a little bit and I kind of buy them for cheap and then resell them. And I happen to know a lot about them. So during the pandemic, I made this video on how to get the best value for this chair. It's the Herman Miller Aeron. Some of these are 19, 30 years old chairs. Yeah. And then I would flip them and I would sell them. And then I got to know a lot. I made a video on it. That video exploded. And I think a lot of companies started reaching out going like, hey, you want to check out our chair? And then people started saying, we really like the way you review these things. Like, please keep doing this. And so that's kind of how I evolved from tech and moved more into the chair space.
That's awesome, man. Yeah. That's so sick. Well, it's interesting. The way I found your video was I guess I was looking at reviews of like FlexiSpot stuff. And I found a video of yours where you had done a review on a headrest.
Yeah.
Okay. And then there was like a whole like drama thread that came out of that because the company was mad about it. And then I was sucked in because I was like, I don't have this chair, I don't have this headrest, but I have to watch this. So I subbed right there. I think I subbed. You could check the sub. I don't know when that happened, but I'm pretty sure I subbed right there. And then I just watched like the whole saga as it played out. And it's interesting to see that there's drama in every niche, not just literally drama niches. Yeah. Could you explain that story a little bit if you want to? You don't have to.
Okay. So, all right, we'll do, this is socks off, right? So
yes.
Socks off. Okay. Essentially, there's this company called Atlas Headrest. When I was first starting off in the chair space, I did a review because this company reached out that did a headrest for the Herman Miller Aeron, and it was kind of a natural second video. So I reached out to that company. They sent me a headrest. I checked it out. That company is called Engineered Now. Okay. But in the comment section, a lot of people kept saying, hey, can you please check out this headrest from Atlas Headrest? We think it's the best one. It looks the best. Their mesh apparently matches 1-to-1. So I said, okay, cool. So I looked on their website, looked really cool. I reached out and I said, hey, my name's this, blah, blah, blah. And they said, look, we're going to do you one better. We'll not only give you one, but what if we also like did a giveaway too? We'll give you a bunch to basically give away. Nice. So that's kind of how that relationship was born. I got to know them and it was professional, but they were very kind, right? It was like, these are the kinds of people I want to do business with, right? Like their business model was not just, sure. It was like, hey, let's do one better. And so in that regard, it was a cemented, it cemented a good business relationship, right? And that's what I always love. Good businesses that I can stand behind. I have no problem getting behind them. Right. So anyways, then they start telling me, hey, we're going to release a headrest for this one chair that got really popular during the pandemic and is really popular now because Herman Miller breached into the gaming space. It's called the Embody. So without boring people too much, it was a headrest. They did a phenomenal job on it. I tested it. I reviewed it. Thought it was great. This company called Office Logics, I don't know anything about them. They decide, hey, we're going to do an Embody headrest too. And admittedly, they were able to bring it out earlier to market. I asked them if they'd be willing to send one over. They said no. And I said, okay, that's fine. Well, Atlas releases their headrest, and then Office Logix, they have their headrest. And so I decide, let me buy Office Logix's headrest off of Amazon because I'm an Amazon affiliate there. So I earned commission through there, and I earned commission from Atlas headrest. Let me check these headrests out. And I compared them, and I thought the Office Logix one just was not very good at all. They come out with a video basically accusing me of like all kinds of bias. They say like I have financial incentive, and I'm like, well, I bought yours from the Amazon store and I'm an Amazon affiliate, so I do make commission off of your headrest too. As a matter of fact, per headrest, I would make more money per headrest with you guys than I would with Atlas. So it's like all these things, and their whole video was like really aggressive. And I've noticed that their marketing tactic has always been kind of like that. When they released their headrest for the Embody, they always were throwing shade at Atlas. Like, we would not take a year to release our headrest. And it's like, there's only one other company doing it. It's such a niche market. But I could go on forever about this. But essentially, I found out that they were view botting their video as well, or it appears that they're view botting because their views, I looked on like view stats and it looked like their views keep disappearing. And so it's just overall, it did not leave a good taste on my mouth of that company at all. And so that's how that drama was born. And I think Office Logix tried to make that blow up by using my name constantly. They made like 5 videos, like they cut it up into multiple shorts. And as a result of me making mine, I think actually a lot of people found out about them and now have a negative view of them because of what they tried to do to me. So, yeah.
I mean, that's definitely how I found out about them. I saw your video, and like I said, I watched the saga. I watched yours, then I watched theirs. Well, actually, I think I saw your response video first, and then that made me go back and watch
theirs. Yeah, okay.
But that was a really wild saga, man. And it's interesting. So you brought up commission, and that's something that I think people don't really understand about, I think, YouTube and influencing in general. That's for a lot of people, that's their main source of revenue.
Yeah.
So it's interesting. How did you figure that out? How did you get into that world? Because I know there's probably a lot of creators watching who do well with views, but like for the longest time, me in particular, like I only would get AdSense. Like I had maybe sponsors here and there, but I didn't even know anything about commission. How did you get into that world, and how big of a part of your business is it?
Yeah, so I honestly didn't know about it either. And this is the reason why like I'm passionate about doing podcasts like this, because I'm just like, dude, I love teaching. I think that was always something that was always in core to my fundamental being. Like I love to teach, I love to share knowledge. And so when I first started, I had no idea. So when my video about the Herman Miller Aeron blew up, I didn't know what to do with that, because it literally got like 500,000 views in 3 days. I've never had a video go that big so fast. I didn't know what to do, but I was also burnt out because I was working full time in my corporate job at the time. And so I didn't know what to do. And had I known about affiliate marketing, had I known about things like that, I think I could have earned a lot of commission from that, explosion, but I was not prepared. I didn't know anything. So I found out about Amazon affiliates because I think that's kind of the basic one that a lot of people recognize. But I didn't realize that a lot of these companies and brands have their own direct affiliate marketing programs. So you can go to them and sign up. Usually they're done through these large portals called like Impact, Commission Junction. These are some of the biggest ones. YouTube has just gotten into the space, and now YouTube functions as a big portal too. So if you get to a certain amount of subscribers, you can join the YouTube shop, and that's huge. Not to like preach YouTube's like gospel here, but it's huge because YouTube is negotiating on your behalf. Because a lot of times on these programs, when you try to directly affiliate with like APTHCRY, I'm just gonna just with you guys, like everybody gets the default rate. It might be like 2%, 3%. Not much, not amazing, but at the same time, it's something. But the bigger you are, the more negotiating power you have, and you can go to them and say, hey, this is my niche. Can we increase? Can we negotiate that percentage rate? Right. Well, with YouTube, because YouTube is negotiating on your behalf, they give you a much bigger percentage right off the bat, no matter how big you are. And I think that's amazing. But yeah, that's kind of how I found out about it, is like slowly over time, I realized these companies had affiliate programs, and it was usually like a year too late. So before I knew anything about it, even in the idea of being able to negotiate, because I just thought, as a company, you get what you get, you don't get upset kind of thing. Right. But I found out that, hey, you can actually talk to these companies, because as I spoke to other companies, they would say, hey, what if we offered you this commission rate? We'd like to offer you this percentage. It was like, oh, that's cool. I would like to believe, and I think that I don't let the commission rates, influence my perspective on a product. Like if I don't like it, I'll tell you I don't like it. If there's flaws, I'll still tell you there are flaws. But I still negotiate a higher percentage, just because that's the way. Like valuing myself, right? It's like, hey, am I worth 1% commission for this product? No, I don't think so. Whether I like it or not is irrelevant. It's like, how much commission can I command? And if I don't like it, I don't earn any money, and I'm okay with that. But for the products that I do like, those are amazing. But then I can say to other companies that I work with, I can't promise you that I'm going to love your product.
Right.
But if I do, I'm going to encourage people to purchase it because I'm always looking for good product, not, high percentage rates or anything like that. So does that make sense? Yeah.
That makes sense. Okay.
Yeah.
So what would you say is like the average percentage rate for like something like furniture, like a chair or a table? Is it like 10? Because I know for sneakers, it's really low. Like, especially through YouTube's system, it's like with StockX resale sneakers, it's like 0.04 or something.
Yeah.
But then like if you go to Nike, it's like 0.5, and then the Foot Locker, it's like 15%.
Yeah.
So, but I'd say the general for sneakers is pretty low. Like,
Yeah.
is furniture higher than that, or is it still kind of?
I think furniture always is like a wild, wild west.
Right.
And I think generally speaking, the margins are huge. Right. So I can tell you, and I think this is public knowledge, anybody who has YouTube shopping, Wayfair, for example, offers 17% on all their stuff.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Okay.
So like Wayfair is insane.
Right.
That doesn't, am I going to go like try to find stuff on Wayfair?
Right.
Maybe. But at the same time, am I going to, but so just to show that like furniture's percentages are huge. And it's always been the case. That's why people flip furniture all the time, because you realize, I can buy a piece of furniture. Like I used to do this when I was in college and stuff. I would buy couches that didn't have any brand names on them because I knew that if I bought it for 100, when I move out, I could probably sell it for 120 because nobody knows, right? Nobody like furniture is a question mark, right? What's the quality like? I don't know. Are people going to go research it? It's probably more available what makes good furniture versus bad, just like sneakers.
Yeah.
But at the same time, most people aren't going to go do their research for like a used $100 couch.
Right.
They're like, hey, that looks pretty big. It's $120. Fine, no problem.
As long as it doesn't smell.
Exactly, right? And it's like, so because of that, I think furniture has always had large margins. Yeah.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Wow. Yeah. And the only time I've ever started watching furniture reviews was when I've gotten older, when I'm like, okay, I want to buy like a brand new chair. I want to buy like a brand new whatever. Yeah. And it's so interesting. And it's like, as someone who reviews sneakers, like, it's a whole different world. And it's so interesting hearing you be so knowledgeable about a topic that I literally know nothing about.
The same goes for you with sneakers, man. I was listening to your podcast about all the other guests. I was like, dude, what am I going to talk? Like, what is it? I have no idea. I barely wear sneakers, or like, I don't know anything about sneakers.
What are you rocking right now?
Dude, my wife got me these. These are the Vessies.
Okay. Dope. That's awesome. Or do you work with Vessies at all?
No. So like I said, she got it for me as a birthday gift, and they look nice.
They look great.
Yeah.
I mean,
and they're paired with the APTHCRY socks.
I see
That's
that.
right, the Rocky baby. Yeah, the Rockies. Yeah.
The New York collection. It's fire. The City collection, New York. Very cool.
Definitely check it out.
Yeah, definitely. Okay, so going all the way back. You said you were working a full-time job before. You said you were in college. What did you go to college for?
So I went to college. Initially, I was trying to go to law school. So I got a degree in philosophy and was doing a bunch of stuff in, I forget what I was doing now. It's been so long. I was doing philosophy and I did a little bit of education, right?
That's awesome.
Yeah, because I read like philosophy is a pretty good major for the LSATs to get into law school. So that's kind of why I did that.
Right.
And then pivoted. I actually went from there, and instead of going to law school, another good place to go after philosophy is seminary. So I ended up going to seminary.
That's
so
awesome.
I went to seminary.
That's awesome.
Served as a pastor for a little bit, and then decided to leave ministry with, my wife was cool with it. So did that, and then we ended up, and then I ended up working full time at a government contracting firm.
Right.
So I was there, and it was a rough experience because I forget how old I was at the time. It was closer to 30. And I remember thinking, it was probably like 27 or something, 28. And my bosses, because I was in the corporate workplace for the first time, workforce, my first time in my life. Right. And my bosses were younger than me. And I think I had a big like ego trip / real humble pie, because I'm like, man, these guys are younger than me.
Right.
They're making more than me. What the heck, And so I was exposed to this whole new world, and I didn't do well mentally at first. And then finally I found my way. But it was pretty cool because I went from earning like nothing to earning 6 figures in like less than 2 years.
That's amazing.
And I think part of that had to do with just because of the fact that I had more discipline. I think I had learned more discipline just through the natural course of aging, right? I'm not saying that I'm better than younger guys, not at all. No. But it was just like I had learned certain disciplines, especially in ministry, working with people, talking to people, learning how to really like relationally, right? Like that's huge in the corporate workplace that people don't understand. Right. People think I just got to do my job and go home. It's like, no, it's actually relationships that are really, really important. Yeah. So anyways, I go from that, and then I was doing YouTube kind of on the side. I love tech, like I said before. Dave 2D was one of the guys that I watched. And I was like, dude, his aesthetic is so clean. Yeah. But more than anything, I didn't want to be like him. I would actually watch these guys and find deficiencies. I would be like, there are things that they're not talking about that
so
me as a
interesting.
consumer,
Yeah.
I want to know. And I
Yeah.
think for any YouTuber, any entrepreneur, there needs to be a level of arrogance, right?
Absolutely.
There needs to be like,
Yeah.
hey, I could do it. I think I could do that. Or I think I could do it better.
Right.
And so what I always tell people, like, dude, you stand on the shoulders of giants. So we have an advantage that they didn't have because they were their first foragers, right? And to some degree, we get to stand on their shoulders, see what they did, and improve on the formula, right?
Totally.
And so that's kind of what I tried to do. Wasn't great at it, but I think I developed some kind of cadence. And so what I would do is basically my job was really demanding. So I would work from 8 o'clock in the morning all the way until about 7, 8 p.m.
Right.
And then after that, I would eat dinner, put down we had a baby at the time. And then after that, disappear from like 10 to 2 a.m. grinding YouTube, trying to put out a video once a week, once every other week, trying to do that.
Yeah.
And so that's kind of how I lived my life for a long time. Yeah.
That's amazing, man. Well, getting back to sort of standing on the shoulders of giants, you really have sort of surpassed, I would say, every other furniture channel that I've watched, because I was watching a lot of furniture reviews at the time, and like watching your videos, I would say that professionalism wise, comedy wise, like just your personality is so great for YouTube, but then also your video quality, like everything about it is so well done. Like your B-roll, dude, like I watch channels with like 10 million subscribers and their B-roll is just garbage. And then dude, like your B-roll is beautiful. You've got beautiful editing. You've got a great story. I'm assuming you write scripts for everything, right?
Kind of. Sometimes I don't. Yeah.
Okay.
A lot of times I don't. I'm trying to do more now because I want more of my personality shine through.
Right.
And I realize in order for that to happen, I do have to think about it a little bit. If I try to go in, because I'm so busy trying to remember the facts, I don't remember to put myself in it. Right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yep. I completely understand that.
Yeah.
Man.
Yeah. Right. Yeah.
But bro, like your videos are so well done, and it's so interesting. Like watching, like, and you truly have made furniture content interesting for people. Like, I mean, I like furniture. Like, I was an industrial designer going to school, so I've always been interested in it. Yeah.
Yeah.
But like, you've really made it like an enjoyable experience. Like, I'd sit there and I watch your videos. I mean, I like the chairs that you're reviewing, but I'm not going to like go out and buy the Embody. I did just watch your Embody 2 review. Is that the one?
Yeah.
Embody 2 review. And it's like, I love Herman Miller. That's great. It's an aspirational brand, like one that I've always liked. But I'm not going to go out and buy an Embody 2. But just hearing your thoughts about it, dude, and the way that you portray that is amazing.
I appreciate it, man.
Yeah,
thank you.
definitely.
Yeah, no, it's something that I try to do. I think the thing that I try to do as a reviewer especially is like, and I need to do this better. I need to work on this craft more.
Okay.
But I think I've always had this inherent ability to think like the person behind the camera, right? To think like, and that was why I started the Check Channel, because it was like, there are questions that I have about this product that you're not answering.
Right.
And part of me thinks that it's because, whether it's because you've just been doing this for so long and you assume so much about a product, because you just, once you develop a certain amount of knowledge, this is why, we have these, industry shakeups, right?
Yep.
It's because people who've been doing things one way only do it that way, and they don't really think about it in other ways because they just kind of assume so much about the consumer and stuff.
Right.
So I think that was one of the things that I've always thought about as a reviewer, is like, how do I sit in your shoes and think about this? And one of the things that people always talk about, they always comment is, hey, I sit with, like, one of the things I talk about, comment is about like people who you can't see on camera, but tucking one leg under the other leg while you sit. And people don't even realize that they sit like, because they just do it automatically.
Right.
So when I say, hey, if you're a leg tucker, they go like, oh my God, that's me.
Yeah.
And the comment goes like, dude, I can't believe you thought about me.
Right.
And it's like, yeah, because I want to think about everybody. Like, that's, I know you can't appeal to everyone,
right?
But in a review, what I'm trying to do is I'm trying to be as exhaustive as possible, because this is a large purchase. This is going to be a meaningful purchase. This is probably, for a lot of people, this is going to be a stretch purchase. And so because of that, it's like, I want you to have all the facts. I want you to have my personal opinion before you make that purchase. And so that's what I try to think from, like, the real human perspective. And that's why whenever brands send me like, hey, here are features of our product, I'm like, I throw it in the trash. I'm like, come on, man. Like, I want to think like a regular dude, like a regular person sitting in this chair. So
that's amazing, man. So how do you approach a new review? Say you get a chair in from a brand. Like, what's the first thing you do after building it, I guess?
Yeah, I mean, building it is such a pain. Like, nowadays, it's such a pain. Like, I know, but like, the fact that I get to do this for a living is wild. But
that's
awesome.
Awesome.
I build it, and then obviously I sit in it, right? I sit in it. I'm pretty abusive to it. So I'll like sit and kind of slam in it just to really see, and then I'll sit in it for a very long time. Right. So I'll like, what I say is a minimum of 3 days, but realistic, it's probably gonna be more like 5 to 7 days before I start working on a script, making sure I understand all the adjustments and things like that. I think what happens sometimes is that I'll have these thoughts in my head and I'll take notes on it here and there. But in the weeks where I don't always have a script, because life can get so crazy sometimes, I've got a bunch of kids, like, and so because of that, life gets a little crazy, that I have made mistakes, and it's like, I'm having to go back and go, hey, Dan, hey, these mistakes are not okay. Like, again, if I'm really thinking about the viewer, I can't be putting in a pinned comment going like, I missed this part. It's like, I really need to get this right the first time. And so I'm trying to go back and reflect on the process. I hired an editor, videographer full-time time. So a lot of the recent B-roll has been him, which shout out to John if you're listening to this, and so I've been like really trying to focus back on script writing, really focusing on the details, making sure I get that tight. Because again, it's all about the viewers, and they came here for a good review, and I want to give them a complete good review.
That's amazing, man. I think that's something that's kind of lost on a lot of like not sneakers. Well, actually, sneaker reviews as well. But like just YouTube in general, I think. I mean, I know I've been guilty of this in the past, where it's like you lose sight of the actual reason that you're doing it. Yeah. Like especially with reviews, like you're like, I just want to get this video out because I know it's going to get views.
Yeah, exactly.
And so it's really refreshing to hear someone actually like, you're doing it. I mean, like a lot of reviewers do use the product. Yeah. But like a lot of times it's like you use it for the review period of like a day or whatever, and then you're like, I gotta get that video out real quick.
Yeah, exactly.
So it's really refreshing to hear that. And I think you're actually the first true product reviewer that we've had on the podcast.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Yeah, like everyone's like sneaker focused that we've had on so far, but like you're the first true product reviewer. So it's really cool to be able to pick your brain about that sort of stuff. Definitely, man.
Yeah. One thing I was listening, I'm terrible with names, but there was one guest where he was talking about how do you develop a brand, not necessarily like product based, right? And that's something that I'm struggling with right now. It's like, hey, I think there are people who are tuning into me. They like what I have to say. They like what I do. Right. But chairs obviously aren't the sexiest topic in the world, but I'm grateful that they tune in because they're kind of interested in chairs, but they're also interested in what I have to say. Right. So I think right now what I'm thinking about is, how do I go from being just a product reviewer to thinking about how do I build a brand so that no matter what I talk about, people are willing to tune in. Right. And so that's what I mean by like stepping back a little bit, looking at the script a little bit more, incorporating a little bit more of my personality, incorporating a little bit more of like interaction with people so people get to see me as opposed to just like the product. Right. And that's been a hard, difficult change when you start as a pure product reviewer. Totally. I would say a pure product reviewer, because you like this question, you like this if you had to start from zero, right?
Yep. Oh, you really have been watching.
I really have. I like that question. Like, if you had to start again from zero, what would you do? Yeah. I think the easiest way to grow is going to be product based, right? Because people are going to be searching products all the time, and what's great is that there's something about when a person, a YouTuber gets too big, they start to lose like credibility. And it's not, whether you believe it or not, there's some degree where it's like, hey, I don't trust you as much anymore because you're just like too big.
You're not a normal person anymore.
Yeah, it's like, it could be like, people misconstrue this all the time. They're like, oh, he's definitely sponsored. He just didn't say it. And it's like, well, I don't think that's true, but I can see why someone might think you become less trustworthy when you're bigger. So I think people are still looking at these like really small, it's almost like Reddit, right? It's like the person who has no skin in the game. They're looking for like that review, which I totally get, which is why if you have to start from zero, I would go more product based because then you're definitely gonna get searched. Right. I feel like it is harder now. I mean, I could be wrong. I feel like it's harder now to try to do something like totally original, totally different, totally unique and get big, or it would take a little while for that to happen. So if you're like trying to immediately get to the point of monetization, trying to get immediate subs, I think it does have to be more product based.
That makes total sense.
The downside of that is then you might lose that brand building ability on the side. So I'm sure nobody should take my word for this, but like I feel like if you go too product based, you lose some of the branding. If you go too brand based, it might be a slower climb up if you're not creating these Mr. Beast like videos.
Right, exactly. That's so okay. So who do you watch in particular? Like so for an example, like what would be a good product based video or channel that you watch, and then what would be more of like the original kind of content that you watch or that you're thinking of when you're giving these examples?
So product based, who do I watch in terms of what? Like
who would you say is doing what you were talking about the best, like that you've seen?
Like product based, or product and brand?
Product and brand.
And brand. It's hard, man, because like I feel like even for me, the algorithm feeds me the biggest people all the time, right? The most views all the time. Right. I haven't really seen a good product and brand review in a long time. Yeah. Where I feel like the person's personality is interwoven into it. Right. But also because I think because I do reviews, part of me is like, I don't want to watch more reviews. Yeah, I feel that. I want to learn, but at the same time, it's like, I just want to shut my brain off and just watch gobbledygook for a while. Totally. And there are some people who I call it gobbledygook, but like, it's amazing. Like the stuff they do. There's this one guy, this Asian dude who made a video called like, I trained for, it was Andrew Goggins. Is that his name? Okay. I trained like Andrew Goggins or something. And excellent storytelling, excellent editing was phenomenal. Like, and he's a small channel, and his videos had like maybe at most 50,000 subs, and then his most recent one, the Andrew Goggins one, it's like 5.5 million views, and he's getting 50,000 subs off of it. And I wish nothing but the best for this guy. But like those types of videos, I watch those, and I'm like, damn, I wish I could make something like that. Totally. There's a desire where it's like, I wish I could build something like that. That's really cool. Right. Yeah.
That makes so much sense. Okay. Well, speaking of the gobbledygook, like what's your go-to channels? Like what are the ones you watch that are just like purely like turn off my brain, let's just chill?
That's a good question. Let me think about this for a little bit. Damn, I watch so much stuff that
Me too, man. Me too.
I feel like the algorithm is like, what do you want?
Exactly.
I guess I'm constantly like, nope. And then one day, like for White Lotus, you know, for Severance, like I like watching recaps of these things.
Right.
And so I'll watch a bunch of these recaps.
Right.
And then the algorithm will be like, here's more stuff. And I'm like, no, I'm bored of that now.
Exactly.
You know?
Dude, you're
And
speaking my language.
Yeah. So that's all the more reason why it's like, I think that's why like brand is so important now, because people they move so fast, right? Their interest shifts so quickly.
Totally.
So like you watch a chair review and they're gonna start feeding you a bunch of chair reviews for a little bit. And I get the comment like, hey, I'm going down the black hole of chairs and I'm just watching a ton of your videos. But then I'm sure the next day, once they've purchased their chair or whatever, they're gonna shift, they're gonna move on.
Right.
So it's like, yeah, but how do you keep getting that person's attention to the point where subscriptions don't even matter anymore? They don't feed you your subscription feed anymore. They feed you based on what you just watched, because I think they realize to get people to stay on YouTube, you got to go on what they want today, not what they subscribed to like a week ago, a month ago. And that is a very difficult race to maintain, and very few people I feel like have that ability. So
absolutely, like there's a lot of people that half my subscriptions I don't even get served anymore. And when I do, it's like I just don't really. I'm not in the mood to watch.
Yeah,
this
exactly.
Right, now, you know what I mean?
Right.
Like, yeah. So it's really interesting. I've been like, to your point, like last week I found myself watching people sail across the Atlantic by themselves, and it's not something I'd ever want to do. And I'm didn't even realize I was interested in. But I spent like 4 days just watching these people sail across, like 2-hour videos of them just being like, yeah, today I got really sunburned, but it was all good. Like I went and sat underneath and I did something with the jib or whatever. And I was like, great, this is awesome.
Dude, I watch videos like that all the time. I watch the ones where it's like people going and like kayaking and catching their own fish, and then they like catch a fish and they cut. I'm like, this is fascinating. This is a life that I would never live, but like it's just so cool, you know? Yeah.
That's
so
great.
I get it. I'm constantly bouncing. So in terms of like my true, what do I still watch? I don't know if I would say that I'm super committed to a specific channel anymore.
Same.
And that is weird, because that was not the case 5 years ago.
Right.
Like I would watch Dave 2D almost religiously, because I would watch him. But now I can't remember the last time I watched a video of his. Yeah. I really can't. Yeah.
Did you see his new studio? Like, well, it's not even new anymore. It's from like 3 years ago.
The concrete one, the concrete
one,
jungle. Yeah, with
it's
the
wild.
His chair looks dope.
What is it?
I don't know.
Wow.
I still cannot figure out what chair he has in the background. And I've been kind of looking for it. I didn't look that hard, although now with Google search I could probably find it. But I was like, what is that chair? Because that looks pretty crazy. And I wanted to review it, and then life happened. So yeah. But Dave 2D, I'm gonna find his chair.
Yeah, I mean, shoot him a message. I'm sure he'll tell you what's
Yeah.
Yeah, but okay. So getting back into chairs a little bit, because I'm really personally interested. What is
fire away.
The worst chair you've ever reviewed, the best chair you've ever reviewed, and then a chair that you just think is like crazy and cool?
The worst chair I've ever reviewed, guys. When you
You don't have to throw it on the bus either.
No.
Be like,
because I don't think it comes down to a single chair, but like a type of chair.
Gotcha.
And I realized that the people that push these chairs the most are the bloggy style websites. Like,
yeah, that makes sense.
New York Times, like Wirecutter, like I don't know if Wirecutter, like the types of magazines, right? Like Tom's Guide and stuff. A lot of times they push these really cheapo Amazon chairs
because it's affiliate based, right?
Yeah, and I sit on them and I'm like, guys, these chairs are awful. Please do not just blind buy off of Amazon. Please do not just because. And I would say if they were all kind of the same, that would be fine. But because I've gone through the hassle of buying like $1,000 worth of $100 chairs or something, I've gotten to test all these $100 chairs, and I actually got to show you like, okay, the Amazon Basics one is probably one of the best under $100. It's not great, but it's probably one of the best under $100, right? When it comes under $200, I've done a bunch of these. But I will say, so the worst are going to be a lot of those like no-name brands on Amazon. Yeah, check out my reviews if you want to know which one is one worth buying. In the description. And then I would say like a slept-on brand that nobody, I think, is using. Do people say that anymore? I feel old.
Yeah, no, I say that. I mean, you're in your 30s, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, we're probably old.
We're probably old. A brand that I think people don't value as much, although I think they should get a lot more love, is Staples.
Really?
So yeah, because and this is what I've read online is that Staples offers a 7-year warranty on their chairs, and I've heard their customer service is pretty good. And their chairs are often under $200. So you're talking about a chair under $200 that you get a 7-year warranty for. It's pretty nuts, to the point where I was like, "Yo, Staples, let's work together." And Staples is like, "Okay, cool. Awesome. Whatever you want, we'll send it to you. You can review it." And I'm like, "Yeah, let's find the best Staples chair." So I've already done like a best Staples chair, you know, series 1, and I plan to do another one in the future.
That's awesome.
Yeah, but Staples, they're a slept-on brand for sure.
That's amazing. That's awesome. I never would have guessed.
Yeah.
Actually, going off of that, I know a lot of like, especially getting into YouTube, like with a channel, like you're just starting out, like, well, not you, but like people who are just starting out. How do they get that first industry connection? Like you just reached out to Staples. Like, did you have to go search for certain emails? Did you have to like, how did that work?
So it's sometimes they would reach out. Sometimes it was inbound, meaning that they would reach out to me. Mm-hmm. I would say that when I started in tech, I would almost never get inbound except for like the Chinese companies that are just using bots to just because it would be like, hey, you're a perfect match for our company.
It'd be like, hey, the wrong name. And then hey, user.
And it's like, and I still get these emails where it's like, we've been watching your channel, you'd be a perfect fit. And it's like fake nails.
Exactly.
Right? So, when you start out in tech, it's going to be literally, guys, it's going to be smart plugs.
Yeah.
19,000 different brands of smart plugs.
USB
chargers. Like earbuds from some unknown brand. Like it's going to be all those over and over again. And to the point where you're literally getting like 100 emails a week from these kinds of companies.
Yeah.
In terms of outbound, it was more difficult to ever break in, especially in tech because of how hot it is, because how many people there are. It was so hot. It was so difficult to get in contact with anybody. I remember trying to get in touch with a standing desk brand at the time. And this was just as a general piece of tech. It was, and I forget what brand it was, but I reached out to them and they had this form that said they only work with people that have minimum like 30,000 subscribers. And so the barriers to entry were really difficult. To get to talk to anyone was really hard. I would say I don't know what other industries are like, but chairs I think are a little bit easier because again you get that same, but the thing is it's going to be the same type of thing except with tech. It's like instead of the smart plugs, it's going to be like the $100 racing style gaming chair on Amazon.
The DX racers.
I mean DX Racer makes some nice ones too, but they do make
just a bunch of DX racers.
But they make like these unknown Amazon brands that just make these same style chairs over and over again. But to get contact and to start talking to brands that make more substantial products, higher quality products, that always I feel like does take a little bit of like you have to kind of show your mettle a little bit for them to work with you.
That makes sense.
Only because they are sending out so much stuff. Like even now, when I reached out to like Secret Lab, who's one of the biggest, they released a new chair, and I was like, hey, and then they were like, we sent out all of our samples to people, and I was like. Okay, that's fine, I guess. Because I didn't love their chairs. So it's like, I get why they wouldn't want to send one to me immediately. They sent one like 3 months after the launch because I think, I don't know, this is my suspicion, but they're just trying to get that hype, purchases first. And then they're like, okay, now we can let the real reviewers like check it out. So that always is like a red flag to me. It's like, hey, man, if that happens, like, I don't know if this is a brand that I can wholeheartedly recommend. But anyways, so definitely, I keep going off tangents, but definitely requires a little bit of proof to show that you are who you say you are. You have ability in this realm, and I think that's going to go for any industry. But obviously, the more saturated, the more sexy a topic is, the harder it's going to be to break into it. Like I went to CES this year, which is, for those of you who don't know, it's a big tech show, and it was great. Like it was so cool. I got to meet a bunch of tech tubers and stuff. But if you roll up there, and even though I have like a decent amount of subs, it's not huge. I do long form content, which is really great for brand, for like followers, and like instead of just kind of like swipe content. Even then, like trying to meet with LG or Sony, it was just like, no. So it was like, that's not how this thing works, So I think a lot of times you either have to know somebody or you have to be so big that they can't ignore you. It's got to be one of those two. Yeah.
That makes sense. It's so interesting, like, because I have a tech channel that's about, I kind of boosted it with my main channel. So it's 110,000, but I boosted it pretty heavily from the beginning, so like I kind of got like a little bit of an unfair advantage there, but like just trying to work with those bigger brands, like you said, it's tough. And like when I was in sneakers, you have 100,000 subscribers, you can get whatever. But with like tech, it's really tough, man. Like it's like we were talking earlier before the podcast about this like Sihu chair that I got. And that was just like that was one of those brands that just reached out and was like, cool, like I can do a sponsor segment on that. I'll use it. Like So it's like, but those are the level of sponsorships I'm getting on that channel versus like, like doing, Samsung's paying me $10,000 to fly out to France. And check out the new phone.
Exactly.
You know what I mean? So it's really interesting how, and I'm sure I've never done anything with cars, but I'm sure like you watch MKBHD's car reviews, or are you familiar with Justin C on YouTube at all?
Justin C, yeah.
He just did like some Mercedes video or something. It's beautiful. His cinematography is ridiculous.
Amazing. Yeah, ridiculously good. Yeah.
But like I'm sure that sort of stuff is just like a whole nother tier of like, because like they're obviously not going to send you a car, but also like even just flying you out to those events is probably like crazy.
Exactly. I think at the end of the day, you have to prove that they're gonna be able to get you gotta think like a business, right? Like as much as I'm gonna say something that's probably controversial, right? Where it's like subscribers are vanity metric, right?
Yeah,
like
absolutely.
I think I firmly believe that they're vanity metric because it's like you can have 1 million subscribers, you can have 100,000 subscribers, but at the end of the day, what brands are looking for is like, okay, if you put out a video on this, how many people on average are going to be tuning in?
Totally.
Right. And this is an interesting conversation I'm having with sponsors now, where it's like, hey, in terms of conversion and commission, like I kill it. Because I think I do a good job. I think people trust me, and I want to be a brand that's trustworthy because that's who my core value of my brand. And so it's like, in terms of conversion, in terms of people who are trusting me, my opinion to purchase, it's huge. But my views aren't that great. My subscriber count isn't that great. It's a super niche area, which I totally get. It's not the most sexy topic in the world. But I realize like I have, as much as I'm kind of bitter about that, right? Because I'm like, hey, like, this is my rate because this is what I think I'm worth. It's like, yeah, but in the brand's eyes, and if I was a brand, I'd be thinking the same thing. If only about 7,000 people are going to tune in for this product, or 10,000 over the course of a year, it's not worth it to us to spend this much on this thing. Whereas, you know, this other person who has something totally irrelevant to chairs has a million subscribers.
Therapy.
Yeah, like an
Something
Unbox
that.
Therapy.
Yeah.
They have, 6 million subscribers, and they get an average of like 1 million views, which is something that happened. And this is no harm foul against Linus Tech Tips, but Linus Tech Tips did a Herman Miller Embody video, and that video has over 1 million views. Right. None of my Embody videos have over 1 million. They've each got like 400, 500,000 views, which is still a lot.
That's huge,
but with one video, they were able to do that. And it's like, it's hard for me to then get mad. Like, of course I'm gonna get mad, but if I really step back and think about it, it's like, well, that just means that I need to be making better videos. I need to be thinking more strategically about how do I engage my audience better, so that if I'm talking about this or I'm talking about that, they're gonna tune in. And that is going to raise my brand's value, so that when I start commanding these prices, the brands don't have to think twice about it. They don't have to debate about it, right? So at the end of the day, it's more like, hey, your subscriber count, it's fine, but it's really about like, what value do you provide to these brands? And that is a result of what value do you provide to your audience, right? Yeah, and so it's all kind of interlinked, but yeah, basically subscriber count, I feel like, is the least important metric nowadays, although it used to be more important back in the day.
Totally.
Yeah.
I mean, like we were saying earlier, like it really is like you don't even get your subscriptions anymore in your feed.
Yeah.
And like I'm sure if the brand was to look at your conversion rates versus like the Linus Tech Tips video, I mean, maybe they have a little bit more because they got 1 million views on it. Yeah. But like percentage wise, yours I'm sure would be quadruple theirs. Yeah. Like I'm sure it's like maybe point something percent for theirs. But I'm sure you sold way more Embodies. You know what I mean? Like
it's possible.
It's
like,
wild.
I wish I knew their numbers, but I will say like that clearly does work. This influencer style of like, hey, you know, because I trust you for everything.
Right.
When you tell me that there's a product that you like, I'm going to trust your opinion on it, right? And that's what these brands like, you know, Jay's 2 Cents, Linus said, that's what they've built up, right? And it's like, hey, I would love to follow in their footsteps. And it's like, how do I continue doing that? How do I continue to build a brand that's trustworthy, but also one that people are engaged with?
Totally.
And that is the $1 million question, right? That's how you go from like being a product reviewer to like, I hate to say influencer, but it's almost like a reviewincer. I don't know what you call it. Yeah,
that's a great way to say it.
Yeah, it's like, and this is neither here nor there. I'm kind of going on a tangent here, but like I've been thinking a lot about the different categories of people, because people will look at me and go like, you're an influencer. And I would say, I think I can maybe start verging into that realm, but I would say still I'm more of a reviewer than an influencer. Because for me, an influencer is somebody who doesn't necessarily break down a product. There's somebody who's just trying to sway your opinion of a brand or product. For me as a reviewer, I'm like trying to give you all the facts to give you an educated, to help you with an educated decision on a product. But I can venture into the realm of influencer if I'm doing more of like a fluff piece, a sponsorship, things like that. Yeah, in that case, I'm not necessarily breaking down, you know, every pro and con about a product. I'm more talking about the product in a sponsorship type way, right? Just like a commercial. And it's, I forget where I was going with this, but it's the idea that, you know, there is something about people who are just influencers that are able to still make conversions, just because people like them. And
someone like Emma Chamberlain.
Yeah, exactly. Right. Like even though they have like Linus Tech Tips, like I'm sure they know something about chairs because they sit all day.
Totally.
But have they compared, you know, 100 different chairs like I have? No. Right. But they're still able to sell this chair really well because of their trust as reviewers, but also as their influence of being people who people like to follow and again, like trust, right?
Right.
So yeah, I don't know if I made any sense there.
No, that makes a lot of sense. And I think, it's really interesting. And I think one thing that I've been obviously subscribed to your channel for a minute, but like I went through your channel recently just preparing for this, and your engagement in proportion to your views is better than tons of channels.
Really?
Like the amount of the way that people are bought into your channel and really trust your opinion is so valuable. And I'd say, like you were saying earlier, like it's way more valuable than sub count, because that's not something you can buy. That's not something you could like you could, if you wanted to do like, sure, if you just all of a sudden decided to pivot to like, I'm trying to think of something that would like immediately get you like millions of views. Like, you know, the newest, like if you bought a Cybertruck when it came out and you decided to just make content in the Cybertruck, like you could blow up so fast. But like, it's not honest to who you are. You know what I mean? So I think that you've built up something that takes years and years and years. And that's something that I think brands have noticed. And I think that's really cool. And not a lot of people can do that.
I appreciate that.
Yeah,
man.
Seriously. Yeah.
Yeah, I think part of the reason why, because somebody, comments are the best and the worst at the same time, but comments are the best. The funniest people on the internet exist in comments. And somebody once said, because I'm Asian, they were like, hey man, you missed a golden opportunity. You should have called yourself Chairman Dan. Or what was it? It was like chairman. It was what's the Chinese chairman? I forget. But like that's the position. But they were like, you should call it Chairman Dan. And I remember thinking that is a brilliant channel name, and I could have totally done that. You know, but I think there was a part of me that kind of did not always want to stay purely in the realm of chairs. Like, and you can kind of see it in the channel where I'll venture off and I'll kind of try some other things because at the end of the day, as much as I'm providing honesty for everyone else, there's also an aspect where it's like, I want to be honest to myself and what I'm enjoying, right? Totally. And so I still love chairs. I'm still enjoying doing that, but there's an aspect of me that's like, hey, where do I go from here, right? Like, how do I keep doing chairs, but how do I kind of move to some adjacent spaces? Or how do I just try out one-off videos once in a while and just engage the community that way? And I think people have appreciated that. Some people don't love it because they're kind of like, just stay with chairs, which we get. Right. But I think there's always a part of me that refused to change the name because it's like, at the end of the day, I might not always be doing chairs 100% of the time. I might be venturing into other things. So we'll see.
What sort of stuff would you like to venture into? Back into tech a little bit, or?
So I've always loved tech. Maybe tech here and there. I think some of the stuff that I'm trying to play around with a little bit is just like, interior design isn't the right word for it. It would just be like weird ideas for decor. So I just got another studio space. I call it Studio B. That one is meant to be much more aesthetically beautiful. My current one is pragmatic. The carpets are old. It's it doesn't look that great. But then Space B, I got it renovated. It looks really dope. It looks really clean. And the idea is to like just play around with different ideas and different things that I've seen on social media and kind of reviewing that, right? Like saying, hey, I saw this one kind of hack. I saw this one trick for home decor that really went viral. Is it any good? And kind of trying that out myself, because like this is my idea is like people have. So one of the videos that did really well for me was are wood slat panels worth it, right? And it's such a
That's great.
Yeah, it's such a weird video. And I was like, I really like the look of it.
Right.
But then I'm thinking on two avenues, right? On one hand, I'm like, man, it's really expensive. And I like, and as one of the benefits of being a YouTuber is that you can reach out to companies and be like, hey, can you send them over? And I'll make a video, I'll review it, and sometimes that works. Right. Didn't work for this one. Okay. So I was like, hey, you know what? So I just bought it on my own. I installed it. I really liked it. Reached out to the company and said, hey, I really like your stuff. You guys have an affiliate program. They said, yeah. And I said, I plan on making a review of this. And I did. I made a review on it. And I realized I tapped into a market that doesn't exist. And some of these still exist, which is a lot of home decor channels. They just do the decor. They just do it. And they show you the process and it looks great and everything. But what they don't do, or what a lot of people don't do, is they don't comment on whether it's good or bad. So there are all these trends in the decor space. There are all these, and it's a huge space. Tons of companies are spending tons of dollars on marketing, but nobody is standing outside of it and going like, well, is it worth it? Because those wall panels were like $5,000. It's like, is it worth $5,000?
That much?
And it was a lot because it was a huge wall.
I did see it's the whole
it was the whole wall. Yeah.
What lens are you shooting with? Because it looked like you got a huge, like a 14 or a 16.
That one was probably a 16 to 35.
Okay, so
I don't know. Yeah, it was a huge wall. Yeah, I remember writing the how long it was that wall was. So I bought a bunch of slat panels for that. Right. And that video ended up blowing up because I think people are as much as they want to see, wow, the space is beautiful and people like that. I think people are like, okay, but I want to buy it, but is it any good? Right. And so that is an untapped space that I kind of want to do. Not sometimes it'll be maybe product based, but more than anything, it's gonna be idea based. It's like, hey, there's this really cool thing that I saw. I love it. I want to try it, and I'm gonna comment whether or not I think it's good or bad or worth it or whatever, right? And so those are the kinds of things that I want to try doing in this new space. We'll see how it goes. But it's kind of like people have bought their chair, and I think they're interested in seeing more from me. It's like, where do I go from here? There's definitely interest in that. thing is, my mind wants to go in 9 different directions.
Yeah.
I also like love drama like you do.
That's awesome.
And I kind of want to do like these drama
channel,
channels,
yeah.
right? I do want to talk about like all these dramas that I'm like super into
Right.
and have opinions on. And I think there's a part of me that dreams about like, you know, wanting to give my take and 2 cents on things, even though they're the dumbest takes in the world, you know?
I have dumb takes.
Yeah, like, you know, like I kind of want to do that. I'm also doing this like golf channel with some friends.
Yep.
That's been a little bit slower. It's called Golf is Effing Hard.
Yep.
Self-promoting here. But you know, like it's
out. Link in the description below. Seriously, it will be.
Yeah. It's really small right now, but you know, I love that idea because again, it allows me to be more creative than I get to be on my current channel.
Right.
I think we have I think our chemistry is strong. I think we have some of the craziest, funniest videos.
Yeah.
Even though we've only got 3, but part of me is like, yeah, we've only got 3 videos because we're all old, we're all married, we got kids, so it's like hard to get together.
Time, man. Yeah.
It's hard.
Yeah.
But that would also be a dream too, right?
Right.
It's like I would love to do a channel that's really just based around the best ideas, you know, and executing stories, which you can kind of do in product, not really.
Right.
Sometimes you get to do it, not all the time. And so, yeah, there is something about that that's magical that I would love to be able to. What are we even talking about?
No, dude, like I'm bought in, bro. Like, let me tell you. So you're literally not only speaking to me, just thinking like, I think that's a great idea and I think that could blow up. Yeah. But also, I'm literally building a studio shed in my backyard. Yeah. And I need to do like stuff. And so I've been watching people's videos. Yeah. I can't find any for like people who have YouTube studios. Yeah. So like I'm watching like people.
Sick. Yeah.
Dude, it's crazy. So like the slat thing, like literally every YouTuber now
has slats.
Slats. And I'm like, oh, I'm thinking about doing slats, but like exactly what you said. Are they good? Yeah. Like is it going to be a trend that's going to fade away in like 2 years? So I want to put all that money and effort into something that, you know, everyone else has. I'm not sure. So like that kind of content literally right now, incredibly helpful. Yeah. But then also too, like I think that that's something that would open you up to such a huge audience because people who just want to do like really cool, like not industrial design, like you said, like design stuff in their homes. Yeah. I think that, and just like with your personality, man, I think that'd be so interesting. Like, especially when you review the bad stuff. Yeah. Like, oh my gosh, you got to do it, man. Like for real. I'm bought in 100%.
No, I love things like that, man. I love thinking like I was telling one of your people here, I was like, man, I don't know anything about interior design, but there are just these ideas that I really like. Right. And I'm not great at piecing like a whole puzzle together because my mind doesn't work like that. But there's like one piece of the puzzle that I get obsessed with. And I'm like, I would love to just check that one piece out. Right. And never zoom out the camera because when you look at it, you're like, what the hell just happened in this room? But you're like, don't look at that. Just look at this one thing. Like that looks really cool, right? And so that's kind of like what I want to do. Something that is my personality, but also like, yeah. So we'll see how that space goes. But yeah. I think the first video I'm going to do in that space is going to be like, I decorated my new studio with all Temu and AliExpress products. So
that's sick, dude. So, that could literally blow up. I mean,
we'll see. Yeah, we'll see. We'll see how it goes.
You got to have that thumbnail with kind of like the AI generated background, like all the boxes, and you're like, yo, oh no.
Exactly. Yeah, because this stuff was expensive. Like really? Yeah, I bought.
Oh, so you already bought it. So the video's coming.
Well, I bought it, but I'm still waiting because things are taking like a month and a half because everything's
boat shipped.
Yeah, it's the boat. So I'm like, man, when is this stuff coming? So I'm still waiting on pieces. I bought stuff a month ago. It's still coming. Wow. Yeah, and so I'm excited for that video just because again I feel like I get to flex a little bit more my creative muscle, right, as opposed to kind of doing like standard reviews, which I kind of have a structure for. Totally. It's kind of I don't want to get too complacent. I do try to make like the best videos when it comes to chairs, like things that like people just are not willing to do because it's tedious. And it's like, well, that's why I have this studio space. It's big. I just recently did this thing called like, what's the best chair for tall people? And
I watched that.
Yeah, and I hired like 8 tall guys to come in.
You hired them?
Yeah, I hired them. Yeah,
because I'm like, they were just friends of yours.
No,
a lot of tall friends.
Dude, I'd be awesome if I had that many. No, so they were all like 6'3" all the way to 6'8".
Wow.
So I hired these guys. No, they're just random. I put an ad out, right? And I said, hey, you guys want to test some chairs? If you got to be this tall. Okay. It was really shady because like right after they would be like, hey, I'm inquiring about the chair ad, right. And then I'd be like, hey, I'm gonna need all your measurements. Like half the people didn't respond. I was like, oh, I promise I'm not creepy. I promise I'm not a creep. Like, you know, like you talk about Craigslist killer. Like,
oh my gosh.
So I was like, I promise I'm not a killer, and like I have to give my channel so people can see. It's the funniest thing where I was like, wild. Yeah, I remember sending out the email and going like, wait a minute, I think I need to rephrase that. Like, there may be some body measurement involved. Like, I was like,
oh my gosh.
So yeah, I hired these guys because again, it was like, what is the need in the chair market? Yeah. And it's a small niche. You know, tall people make up a small portion of the population. But again, I was thinking about like, yeah, but I never want to get stale in these chair reviews. Like, I don't want to just keep doing standard chair reviews. I really want to be thinking about like, what are your guys' needs? Like, you guys out there,
right?
What are you guys looking for in a chair? What do you guys want to know? And that's how I try to think about and how I approach the videos, right? So yeah, I want to do more things like that. They are much more expensive, much bigger projects, but you know, I think it's worth it. I think these are the things that I think ultimately take you from being someone who does a product review to being somebody who's like, dude, this guy is the guy, right? Because you're willing to do things that other people aren't. So
wow, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what's your like turnaround time for a video? So obviously these ones will be longer, but like for a regular chair review.
Yeah. Man, we're a scramble shop. So I wish I could say that, you know, we had, cause I'm like, I'm pretty sure I have like ADHD. I'm pretty sure. So, I would love to say we have this well-oiled shop. It is not the case. Sometimes we've got 2 videos in the hopper ready to go. You know, sometimes it's like, oh my God, we're starting a video on Monday because I had to test the chair and I had to script it over the weekend. And so on Monday, it's like, hey man, like John, let's go. We're shooting this thing. And then, you know, and so John is freaking out and we got to get the video done by, you know, release it by Friday. So we are kind of all over the place. I would love to be at a place where we could get it so tight that we're just like, hey, you know, we're able to kind of take it easy a little bit. But that has not been the case for us. We probably need to make like at least one more hire, somebody more organized to get me in line more than anything. So yeah, I definitely think that I'm the biggest barrier to all of this because just the way my mind works, just the way sometimes I'm working week to week is not great. And there's just so much admin stuff to do.
Right.
Yeah, man. Cause everyone's emailing me about their nail product.
Bro, dude. Oh my gosh.
You know what that's like. You know what I mean.
Bro, I know,
I mean?
that entire like last topic that we just talked about, like literally it sounded like you were describing my life right there.
Exactly.
Like, bro, like it's crazy. Like it's wild. Like, and I think it's, you know, with creative people, I think in general, like there's just, you want to be always doing new stuff. Yeah. And then it's just like actually making it happen is hard because then you want to move on to the next thing. So
yeah.
And then like, oh yeah, no, I completely, that's you. It's literally like we're the same person,
but
bro.
You are managing, like you're actually managing multiple, like, I don't want to call them empires, but yeah, empires. Like you've got your YouTube channel, you've got the shorts thing, you've got this going on, APTHCRY, like you got the podcast, like
they're all kind of
all over the place.
They're interconnected though, which helps. And then like I've got really good people. Like Osman helped co-found it. He can't be here because he broke his ankle. Osman co-founded this with me, so he's really kind of the guy who runs it essentially.
Yeah, okay.
And then for the YouTube channel, you recommended getting an editor. I got a full-time editor. That's literally changed my life.
Great.
I got 2 actually, because one for the podcast and then one for shout out to the editor on the podcast was good. But no, I've got 2. So, and that's been amazing. And then it's freed me up a little bit to focus more on the content, like write scripts and do things like that. So that's good, man. That's a big plus. But I'm still all over the place. Like the video dropping tomorrow, like isn't done. I haven't even started it. Like I don't know what I'm gonna do. So
I got a video Friday that's not done either, man. It's gotta like go. I mean, it's got a couple of revisions that need to go. I'm like, oh boy,
Is it sponsored?
That the Friday one is sponsored.
Oh, yeah. Revisions are the worst. Man.
Revisions can be the worst. Thankfully, these guys haven't asked for any revisions.
Oh, great.
It's just me wanting to get the video at a certain level, right? Especially because we're doing it sponsored. Man, the video is so thorough that it makes it like such a pain to have to edit. But yeah, shout out to John who's working on it right now.
Shout out to John. Yo, shout out to John. Bro, let me tell you. So some of the one thing that I deal with, I think, and I was wondering if you would deal with it, but I think we sort of had this discussion either earlier on the podcast or before, but like sometimes I'll put out a video, especially on a shoe, and I think that I've done all my research on it, and then someone will leave a comment and I'll be like, dang, I didn't think about that. Or dang, like for example, with sneakers, there's so much history involved and people are so like knowledgeable about it. Like I'm 33, but like there are people who are like 45 who were there like at the Jordan 1 release, you know what I mean? Like, and so people will know all these things about colorways and stuff, and I'll say something and I won't even realize, like I think I've researched it well, I won't even realize I misspoke or something wrong, and then I'll get these comments and then it just like completely ruins my day because I'm like, wow, I spent all this time on this video and now there's this one thing that I can't stop thinking about, and most people will miss it, but like those 3 comments will be like, dang, he was right, like he was 100% like, you're way more research than I am with your products, and you actually do way, like with sneakers, a lot of it's just this is this color, with chairs, like you're really spending like weeks and weeks working on them, so I'm sure you don't get it as much, but do you ever have those comments where it's like, wow, that person was right, like wow, I wish, and then it kind of ruins your
yeah, definitely. And you know, I think it's worse. I don't want to get into like, I think it's worse when I miss it because the things that I miss are going to be like an actual feature on the chair. You're like, how did I miss that? You know, and you're just like, because sometimes when I'm not scripted, I'm just like, and then this, and then this, and then this, and then I forget that there's a knob like back here in the butt area, right? And it's like, so when I miss it, it's like, oh God, I like screwed up. Definitely ruins your day, but I think it's also those moments where you can it's I think it's an opportunity. Like, yes, it's an opportunity for you to get better, but it's also an opportunity to reward your community for giving their feedback, right?
That's awesome.
Where you can say like, hey, shout out to this person who called it out, right? Who called out this factor about it. Like, I didn't know and I learned something today. I appreciate you, right? And I think it's an ability to connect with certain people in your audience too. And I think those are the kinds of little touches that, I don't know, there's something... Sorry, before I get off topic, let me finish this thought. Because man, I'm gonna do so much, but like those are the moments that I think you can really connect with certain people in your audience that turn them from a viewer into like perhaps like a lifelong fan, or at least somebody who will tune in once in a while and just be like, hey, it's been like, I get these comments. It's like, it's been a while since I watched one of your videos, but you're the one who helped me find this chair. You're the one who answered my questions, and
that's awesome.
It's like these appreciative words that, as much as those one comments that kind of throw off your day, those are the comments that make your day, right?
Yep, absolutely.
So I think those interactions are wonderful, and but at the same time, there's also a theory going on in my head where it's like sometimes I wonder if being too, it's almost like this quality of like celebrityism, right? So I don't know if that's even a word, but
sounds right.
It's like the idea that because these people are so untouchable, like not unattainable maybe, right? Like, because I'll never be able to talk to them, it creates this kind of allure, this mysticism around them. And it's like, I wonder if that has something to do with why so many people are willing to follow them, because it's like the thing that I can never touch, right? It's like that thing you'll never attain. Whereas when we interact in the comments, or at least I don't know if you do, but I do, when I respond to people's comments, part of it is like, on one hand, it's like, I love interacting with people. I'm an extrovert. I love doing that. YouTube can be very lonely. So even talking to commenters is like great. And I love interacting with them. But part of me wonders if that actually hurts, because by being too attainable, by being too, graspable, right? That you no longer become mysterious.
Right.
But I don't know. I could be totally wrong. I'm also in a totally different industry where it's like, almost to some degree, I'm a salesman. Like, I don't like that idea, but I am. I'm here to answer questions. I'm here to help you with your purchase. I'm here to do that for you, right? Because that is kind of what I've set myself out to be.
Right.
So I think it's a little different. But for example, if you were to go into like, man, I don't listen to music anymore, but like Olivia Rodrigo or something, right? Or some of these big pop artists these days, and you're like, oh my God, I love you, or like, what dress are you wearing? Like, she's not gonna respond,
right?
And it's like, to some
but if
degree,
she did, it would like blow you away.
Exactly.
But if she was I guess if she's responding to everyone, and then it's like, okay, it's not that hard.
Exactly. It's almost like, it's just normal, and then it's almost like. And so like, this is where I start getting to like weird questions. Now we're not talking about anything, but it's like weird questions, weird questions about human nature, where it's like the moment that I answer one person, there are other people who, rightfully so, say, hey, if I ask a question, he might answer. And then I feel bad because like I don't always have time to answer everyone's questions. But I answer this one person's questions, to the point where then some people start to think like, well, now I feel entitled to your time. And it's like really interesting, where it's like, man, I would love to have like 100 me's answering all these questions, but we don't have that.
Right.
And then there's always like that one person where you answer a question and then they ask 3 more, and you're like, oh, I love you, man, but like I got other places I gotta be, like I got other things I gotta do. And it just raises a really interesting question about like, comment section. Should you respond? Should you not respond?
Interesting. Yeah.
I think I've kind of made my decision of like, I'll respond if I'm able.
Right.
And I like doing that as a way
to
to reward the people who've taken the time to look and ask questions and stuff. And I'll try to do that, but I can't do it for everyone. And so far, thankfully, no one has been really entitled or mean about it.
Right.
I think the entitlement comes where someone will DM me on Instagram asking me about a chair, and I'll answer. Generally, my principle is like, I'll answer one question, and then after that, I can't really afford to. Sometimes I will, but then they'll ask like another question, and I might answer that, and then they ask another and another, and I'm like, okay, like I can't.
They're like, I got him now.
Yeah. You know what's the worst though? Like, and
I'd love to hear
maybe this is like my pettiness coming out, right? But it's like when people ask a question on Instagram, and then I'll look at like their status, and it's like doesn't follow you.
Wow. No, yeah. I totally get that.
At least they give me a follow, bro.
Dude, it's the worst. Oh my gosh. Bro, yeah. No, I've dealt with that a good amount of times, because like, I think for me, like, I'm not like, in the same way we were sort of talking about earlier, like I'm definitely more of a reviewer than an influencer. So people like, they'll follow me for the things that I'm reviewing, but then it's only like a smaller amount that follows me for who I actually am. And so a lot of the comments that I get, I either know the people because they've commented so much, or it's like a really good comment, but then it's exactly what you said. It's like, they actually don't care. They just want, and it's really, man, it's what they'll be like, I've been watching you for a minute, and it's like, well, bro, like, come on, like, hit that subscribe button, hit that follow button. What are you doing? Yeah. Oh my gosh, that's so interesting, man.
Yeah. But I will say, I could be wrong about this, but if you guys want a response from a YouTuber or something like that, at the very least, be subscribed to them. At the very least, follow them, right? And if you think like I'm petty or whatever, like Mr. Beast would do all these things, like these $10,000 giveaways, and he'd be like, only if you're followed me on my channels or something, right? So like, it's not just me. Like that could be $100,000 prize from Mr. Beast or something, right? Like, so at the very least, as much as it's a vanity metric, it rubs my ego.
Yeah, totally. I get it. I get it.
Yeah. No, but I think it definitely helps if you have a question, you want to get a response, you have a legitimate question or something like that.
Right.
Follow them, and I think that will help. That can only help your chances of getting a response. So.
Totally.
And I appreciate all the people who didn't get a response and still follow me. I appreciate you all. And I'm sorry, man. I try my best. I really do try to get to all of them. But yeah,
dude, it's tough, man. You get a lot of comments, and I feel like having to go back and they're probably really thoughtful comments. My comments are like nothing against. No, I love all my commenters, but some of them will be like, "Bro, you wrong. That shoe's whack," and I'm like, "Okay, like great." To each their own.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I don't know much about shoes. Like I think for me, there's a shoe. If I like the way it looks, I don't like the way it looks. I think the reason why I don't love shoes is because shoes don't look good on me ever. I've got like short legs. Or I've got like, I don't know how like interior design.
Right.
I can't even figure out my wardrobe. You know what I mean? Like, so I think shoes don't love me. Like I want to love shoes. I think some of them look so cool. And then I buy them. I'm like, why do they look like that on me? Like they look so cool on everyone else. But I don't know, man. I'm just so much in a thought.
Dude, I'm loving this. This is great, man. I feel like I'm
constantly losing my train of thought.
Dude, that's literally my entire life.
Yeah.
That's all. I've got something going on. Like I was late this morning to get to this podcast, and it's because I had this new camera setting it up. I'm like, why am I not setting this up at the office and setting up at home? So doesn't matter. But like, it's that exact thing. Like I'll be one track mind, and then I'll have something else pop up, and then I'll completely forget about
do this. Yeah,
exactly.
Shiny,
bro. It's just it's every day, man. I can't handle it, but. Dude, it's been an absolute pleasure having you on, man. Seriously.
Thank you.
So
Thanks
much
for having
being
me,
here.
dude. Yeah.
Dude, it's I hopefully we'll have you on again. I'd love to
do it again.
This conversation, man.
Seriously, we'll love it.
Yes. Well, guys, thank you so much for watching. Make sure to follow Dan through the links in the description below. Is there any place in particular you'd like them to find you?
So YouTube is definitely my primary bread and butter, right? It's honestly on Instagram, TikTok. My presence isn't huge there, but I also had to use a different handle name because some person took Ahnestly.
Wow.
So it's Stay Honest, which is my tagline, whereas I'm always like Stay Honest, right? So yeah, it's gonna be at Stay Honest. So check me out there, and then check out the golf channel. Golf is effing hard.
Yeah, it's dope. I've watched all of them. They're great.
Appreciate it.
I definitely recommend it. Okay, with that being said, for the people watching on YouTube, you want to do some sock shopping? Grab some pairs of
let's do it.
socks?
Yeah,
let's do it. All right, Dan, let's go sock shopping. So you can grab whatever you want. We've got a bunch of different options. We've got this whole back wall is like the essentials colors. So it's like the plain ones.
Oh, it's like plain colors here?
Plain colors,
okay,
yep.
Okay.
And then we've got throughout here just all the limited collections. So we've got fire in a couple different colorways. We've got, we got blue, we got cream, we got gray, we got red. We've also got, these are, I guess, graffiti. Oh, they're all labeled because Josh labeled them. Josh is the best. Nice. We've also got mountaineering, which is sort of like mountains on the side.
Okay.
Yep. And then we've got like, this one has, I think Philly's coordinates on it.
Okay.
And then we've got patchwork, and then also this collaboration with Amber Vittoria. And then I could also, if there was any like early socks you want, I'd go with some early ones.
Dude, this is so cool, man.
But you can literally take as much as you want.
All right.
Of whatever you want, or you don't have to take any. Like if you don't like any of them, just be honest about it.
No, dude, I love these, man.
Awesome. Yeah.
Yeah.
Take them. Yeah. Absolutely.
Right. I'm gonna get one for the wifey.
Do it up. Do it up.
Maybe this one for the
Do
wifey.
it up for sure, man. Seriously, whatever you want.
I love these.
What is your
designs,
usual
man.
go-to when it comes to socks?
Yeah, plain white, man.
Let's go. Dude, honestly, those are our best sellers. Like, it makes sense. It's a great way
I've
to
been
go.
really into green recently, so I'm
Nice.
gonna give some green.
Nice.
I was going to my green pants, but they were a little tight, They were a little tight today.
And you've got the New York APTHCRY City.
Yeah, man. My Rocky.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah, my
I called the
Rockies.
New York one twice, dude. I called it. Bro, it's the Philly ones. I was calling them New York.
I think you
the
called
whole
them
time.
Philly, but I'm not sure.
Did I? Oh, shoot. I think I called. I don't know, man. That's my bad.
Oh, I
I
gotta
can't
get
even
these.
label my own city or sock.
I feel like I'm somebody who loves loud colors, but I
too.
can never pull it off.
Dude, I
So
feel
I'm
the
gonna do
exact
it.
same way.
I'm gonna do it.
Might as well. Might as well. Now's the time.
This is so cool.
Oh,
I
thank
love
you.
this.
Thank you.
Man, I'm gonna get another green one. Oh, yes, sir.
Yo, shout out to Melanie for making a lot of
Yo,
these.
this is awesome. Yeah.
Yeah, she's killing it.
Yeah, she is. I was talking to her earlier. I like your, am I allowed to talk about it?
Yeah, of course.
designs?
Yeah.
Your beach series?
Oh yeah.
That looks sick.
Yep.
Dude,
Yep.
that looks
I'm
really
stoked
cool.
on those.
Yeah.
That's a really. Did you see any of the golf ones?
No. You guys have golf ones?
We don't have them in yet, but
Oh, what?
I'll block this out for you guys.
Okay.
They are on let's see. It's the ones that are just below the shirts that are under June. Possibly dropping in June. I don't know when. I think this podcast is still probably dropping in April. Yeah.
Love this.
Right?
Yeah, man.
Sick. Okay, cool. Well, I'll make sure to send you out a care package for
Yeah,
those.
man.
Definitely.
Love it.
I'll take some shots when I'm on the course.
Let's go. That would be sick.
You play it all this season?
I haven't yet, dude. Honestly, man,
Yeah,
it's
it's
the
been
baby life.
Oh yeah, baby life. Yeah, that is rough. Yeah.
Yeah.
All right, man. I think I'm good.
Let's go. Well,
I
dude,
think
thank
I'm
you
good.
so much for
Yeah,
coming,
thank
man.
you so much for
Appreciate you.
having me,
Dude,
man.
Definitely.
Yeah, this alone is worth it.
Appreciate you, man. Awesome.
Thank
Thank you
you
so
so
much.
much.